The stage is set for President-elect Donald Trump's grand inauguration at the Capitol Hill. But right now, this special broadcast comes to you from the Capital One Arena here in the United States of America in Washington, D.C. And despite the cold, despite it raining, the temperature right now is 3 degrees Celsius. It's raining. In about an hour from now, it'll start snowing. And President-elect Trump has already said Arctic winds blowing today and tomorrow, and of course for the next several days. He's asking his fans and supporters to stay indoors, but that hasn't deterred the crowds, that hasn't deterred his supporters from reaching Washington DC and reaching not just the Capital One Arena, where the pre-inauguration victory parade will take place, where President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance and Elon Musk are amongst those who will address Trump supporters in an effort to re-energize them, to make good their pledge, their motto, to make America great again. And how will that happen? We've spoken to multiple Trump supporters. They say that he has his agenda laid out and he knows the roadmap on how his vision is to be achieved. This is his second tenure, and of course non-consecutive tenure, the only second time in American history that this has happened. So they know that this is his legacy tenure. He will ensure, whether it's the economy, which is his top priority, or it's the borders to make them secure, that is something that will happen from day one. In fact, they expect border controls and illegal immigrants to be thrown out of America is the language they use. They said that may just be his first presidential order once he enters White House 24 hours from now. And over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours, we get you all the latest updates. And before President Trump goes to White House, he will also pay tributes, pay respects to the fallen soldier at the Arlington Cemetery in Washington, D.C. A lot of effort being made by his supporters. And I just want to show you around for a moment. Look, this is how the crowds are all here. Police personnel in large numbers, the crowds waiting patiently to enter the Capital One Arena, and the National Reserves, the army, has also been called out here. That's the Capital One Arena, that's the queue, more people waiting in the queue right there, and yet that big smile on their faces, because they're very excited about the new beginning. As they say, America will once again be great again. I bring you this ground report. The temperature in Washington, D.C. is about 4 degrees Celsius, but that hasn't deterred U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's supporters from reaching the Capital One Arena. Right behind me, if you notice, these are all Trump supporters. They're queuing up
From Cuba, freedom from Cuba. Make Cuba great again, too.
So you're talking about make America great again. How do you make America great again?
Voting.
By voting, right. Okay, so you're not deterred by the cold here right now?
I don't mind. I don't mind. I came all the way from Cuba. You know, this is important. Freedom is important. Americans, pay attention.
So if you just look around, just look all around you, Trump, Vance, Trump for president, excitement in the air. So despite the cold, what brings you here?
I'm just happy to celebrate freedom, get our president back in the White House, turn America around.
So why is this freedom for you? Why weren't you free earlier?
I mean, we're talking about freedom to say what we want, freedom to do what we want, take care of our kids, put God back on top.
Put God back on top. Wasn't that happening earlier?
No.
No. Why do you say that? Oh my God, you think that very emphatically. Why do you say that wasn't happening earlier?
I mean, if you just look at the targeting of children in America, you can see that God was never in the picture in the last 4 years. So it's time to get our country back, and it's time to get our children back as well. Yeah.
And the ruining of the nuclear family, and it's time to put our morals back in place.
So Donald Trump's presidency means morality back in public life, morality back in family life. Is that what part of the United States do you come from?
From Tennessee.
You're from Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee it is. So let's talk to some more people here and just look all around. It's Very, very cold. It's drizzling already, and yet you have thousands and thousands of people. Are you disappointed that it's not the inauguration is happening inside the Capitol Hill and not outside?
It's more important to be safe, I feel like, and it's going to be very cold. So we had tickets, and so that's a disappointment not to be there live, but it's better to be safe.
It indeed is. So, how many people? Because we were told that lakhs would have been there in the open, but right now just a couple of thousand would be inside the Capital One Arena.
I think it holds 20,000, and I believe 225,000 inauguration tickets were distributed, if I read online correctly.
Yeah, you do. So will others be disappointed or not really?
Well, if you don't get in to something, you probably will. But there is another rally tomorrow here, supposedly. So there are some choices. But obviously, 2 rallies can't hold all the number of tickets for inauguration.
So what are your expectations of President Trump once he's in White House again tomorrow?
He will have a lot of executive orders. I think a lot of people voted for him because of the border policies. And that's a big one. So I think people want to see a more secure border.
Is that top priority even for you?
Yes, it is. The border is paramount to keeping our country safe and for aligning us with the values of the United States and just turning things around to be safe and economically viable.
So stay safe and economically viable America is what you're looking at.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're wearing this cap that says...
I got it yesterday.
Yeah, make America great again.
Indeed.
And how does America become great again?
Well, first you got to look at the economy. We're definitely in a trade deficit, which something that doesn't help the economy, obviously. So I think tariffs are really good, mostly for like negotiating power, but also we need to increase our industrial base. We need to strengthen the economy, obviously, but also we need to focus on the military and instilling those patriotic values, which I think we've lost for at least a decade now. But
all right.
Yeah.
So wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I see a lot of youngsters here, which is very good. And I also see you voted Trump and you're braving this cold.
I am braving this cold. I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Brilliant.
I am delighted to brave this storm. We are going to have one incredible president.
Why do you think Donald Trump would be one incredible president? What will he do differently from his first time? What would you want him to do differently from his first time?
He knows the game better now. He can make decisions that are firm. He doesn't go back on that. He's a businessman, and we need a businessman to run our country.
Let me for a moment just show our viewers the kind of security that's been put in place, because security has to be paramount. Look at these visuals while you have police patrolling that's happening almost constantly. You also have the National Reserves, the Army Reserves who've been called out. They're also deployed in this area. And look at this long queue at the Capital One Arena ahead of the arrival of the US President-elect Donald Trump. There is tremendous excitement as all these people, they say they've had a long campaign, a long fight, but the war to make America great again for them has just started. Gaurav Sawant in Washington, D.C. for India Today.